Sarah, good to see you. Who's your friend?
Hopefully Constellation's newest member. Thought I'd run through some legwork together.
Another space explorer. Hey, you ever think of joining up with the Vanguard? Help the United Colonies, earn some credits, even get your UC citizenship? Oh, sorry, but no. UC citizenship is all earned based on service. They should have covered this in your civic lessons. Go figure. United Colonies volunteer fleet. Independent captains enlist, get to use their own ships, and the UC provides them with sustained work and credits. And put in your time, and you're guaranteed UC citizenship and everything that comes with it. Discounts on UC goods and medical services, chance to own a place in New Atlantis. Only way a foreign captain could even dream of seeing those sorts of benefits. So, you want in? Excellent. Just need to do a little paperwork. An orientation on the UC, and knock out an exam, and a probationary mission. We need to know you'll be able to hack it out there after all. Do well. You'll be out there keeping the peace in no time.
Don't forget, John. I need him back after you wrap him in that fancy get-up of yours.
No worries, Sarah. I'm not forgetting about you or our little business afterwards. Promise. First things first, head down to the orientation hall and get signed up at the registration terminal. System will walk you through the rest. Oh, and if you got a bounty, well, you're gonna have to make things right with the UC before we'll let you join. But if you've got any questions, I can get you sorted. Something wrong with the exam? Me? 6, 7 years now? Was a recon squad commander in a former life, so it wasn't too big a jump bossing around foreign pilots instead. But Vanguard's been a quality assignment. Meet new people, judge them on a series of diverse criteria, get them out there helping people who need it. MASS is short for Military, Administrative, and Scientific Triumvirate. From here, the 3 co-equal divisions of the UC government work together to advance the cause of the colonies. Be that through mutual defense, political and diplomatic strength, or scientific discovery. Now, serving any of the UC's divisions grants citizenship, but scientific and admin positions in the UC tend to be real competitive. Understandable, most people would prefer to earn their citizenship behind a desk rather than in combat. Not something I'd ever choose for myself, but understandable. Military used to have a pretty narrow view of where the best pilots came from. In their eyes, it was UC or bust. The creation of the Vanguard was an acknowledgement by the brass that maybe not all the galaxy's greatest pilots went through a UC flight school. So it's the Vanguard's job to find them and get them to fly for us. Sure thing. What do you want to know? Vanguard work is as needed. When we've got jobs, we'll make them available to you. But the work itself, well, it runs the gamut. Sometimes you might be hunting down hostile ships on behalf of the UC Navy, or you might be called up to help the Science Division clean up some invasive species. Hell, we've even been asked to help take on the occasional terramorph. And sometimes we just need cargo support. Not every job's glamorous. The Vanguard only gets called in for the ones where there's a chance of seeing action. Wherever the UC needs us, the Vanguard is there. For the exam, we'll be putting you through a combat flight simulation. Let us see your piloting skills, evaluate how you behave under pressure, all without any risk of you inadvertently getting blown out an airlock. For the probationary mission, though, we'll be sending you out on a job all on your own. The specifics of the mission vary by what's available at the time, but we're not about to ask you to storm a Crimson Fleet base or whatever. At least, not on Mission 1. More likely, you'll be making a drop-off to some UC citizens in an area that's outside normal naval patrols. There'll be a risk of hostile contacts, but that's far from guaranteed.
In 2150, humanity learned the Earth's magnetosphere would collapse sometime in the next half-century, eliminating all life on the planet. Decisive action was required, but the secure transport of of an entire civilization would demand a new kind of cooperation, a new kind of courage, and a new kind of union. Thus, in 2159, the United Colonies were formed to make that journey possible. Just 1 year later, the Galileo, the first of many colony ships, touched down here on Jemison, beginning a new era of human history, the age of the United Colonies.
The effort and planning it must have taken to evacuate literally the entire planet. Can you imagine? The logistics alone must have been mind-boggling.
From their foundation, the United Colonies strove to provide all their citizens with opportunity, security, and peace. But there were those among the UC that still wanted something more: independence. So in 2161, the UC issued the Centaurus Proclamation, granting UC citizens the right to settle distant worlds and form their own sovereign powers. It wasn't long before the first new faction, the Free Star Collective, was formally organized in 2188, later followed by House Varun, revealing themselves to the universe in 2230.
The result of the Centaurus Proclamation has always left me torn. So much conflict arose as a result. Was it worth it?
It was only in 2230 that the faction known as House Varun first made contact with the rest of the settled systems. Founded by the passengers of a colony ship that had left New Atlantis and disappeared 4 decades earlier, House Varun was a faction unlike any other. A theocracy dedicated wholly to the beliefs of its isolationist founder, Janan Varun. House Varun initially made overtures of peace towards the rest of the settled systems. They claimed their only intention was to spread the word of their god, the Great Serpent. But none could have guessed that this worship might take the form of a bloody war, the Serpent's Crusade. The Freestar Collective was initially founded in 2188, when the citizens of Aquila banded together with the pleasure city of Neon in mutual defense. But in 2194, after the deployment of a UC medical star station in orbit around their world, the citizens of Narion also requested to join the collective. The resulting rise in tensions between the Freestar Collective and UC culminated in the settled system's first intergalactic conflict, the Narion War. Despite a decisive victory by the UC, the colonies permitted the citizens of Narion to join the collective, forming the basis for the fiercely independent union that persists to this day. Beginning in 2240, House Varun forces declared all-out war on the rest of human civilization, initiating the Serpent's Crusade. Over the next 23 years, thousands of Freestar, UC, and independent souls were killed by agents of House Varun in the name of their serpent god. It was only with the death of their founder in 2263 and the succession of his heir Jarek that House Varun finally sued for peace. There remained, however, select members of House Varun who refused to recognize the cessation of hostilities their leaders established. Even after House Varun's mysterious disappearance, these zealots remain a threat to all who encounter them. Their pacification, a goal of all space. Of the many conflicts between the galaxy's factions, none was more brutal than the recent colony war between the UC and the Freestar Collective. Set off by the unauthorized Freestar colonization of Vesta's Pride in 2308, a direct violation of the Narion Treaty, the colony war spread quickly across the galaxy. Both sides deployed every tool at their disposal. armadas of warships, mechanized combat platforms, or mechs, even bioengineered alien creatures, the infamous UC xenoweapons. It was only in 2311 at the Battle of Cheyenne that the scales finally tipped. The Freestar Collective, utilizing their civilian fleet as a human shield, successfully crippled the superior United Colonies Navy. After their shocking victory against the galaxy's greatest navy, the Freestar Collective offered terms of peace, which the colonies, out of an interest in staving off any further human costs, accepted. The galaxy has been rebuilding ever since. Few settled worlds were left untouched by the colony war. But nowhere could the viciousness of modern warfare be seen more clearly than on the Freestar planet of Nira. Initially occupied by invading United Colonies forces as a forward operating position, repeated attempts to take and retake the planet by collective forces led only to devastation. Swaths of the world were transformed into scorched husks, a nightmarish testament to the depths of human ingenuity and human cruelty. And today, Nira remains a continuing reminder to the horrors of unfettered war. In the midst of the colony war, a different kind of tragedy struck the UC city of Londinian. A newly constructed but critical supply center for the United Colonies' war effort, Londinian found itself overrun by one of the galaxy's most mysterious predators, the Terramorph. A rare but pervasive threat to all human-settled worlds, Terramorphs swept over the city seemingly out of nowhere on a scale never before seen in recorded history. Valiant efforts by the UC military slowed the onslaught, but the creatures proved unstoppable. Ultimately, the decision was made to destroy the Londinian spaceport, sealing off the city, the outbreak, and its citizenry from the galaxy at large. The tragedy of Londinian is mourned by the UC to this day. After the devastation wrought by the colony war, the UC and the Freestar Collective came together to ratify a treaty that became known as the Armistice. Both sides agreed to a vast reduction in standing forces, and that xenoweapons and mech warfare would be outlawed. All related research was sealed away, accessible only in cases of dire emergency. But the Collective had another demand, that the active commanders of the UC military stand trial for their actions. The United Colonies, in the interest of peace and galactic security, agreed. In 2311, 3 United Colonies senior officers were found guilty. Commander Henry Durant, General Indira Rastogi, and Fleet Admiral Francois Sanon, known better as Ve Victus. All were sentenced to death for their actions, bringing the colony war to a close and returning peace to the galaxy at long last. It was into this new world that the Vanguard was born. An official branch of the UC Navy, the Vanguard is the United Colonies Volunteer Fleet, serving a myriad of security, logistical, and reconnaissance roles. And after a sufficient length of service, UC citizenship is guaranteed to every Vanguard member. Open to all captains, regardless of origin, the Vanguard is leading the charge to protect and support the citizens of the United Colonies, wherever in the galaxy they may be. No one is born a United Colony citizen. Only through service to the UC can one hope to earn one's citizenship. But the UC prides itself on taking care of its people. Cost of living controls mean citizens pay less than their foreign counterparts for needs big and small. All all citizens are issued a grant upon joining to get themselves on their feet. And only UC citizens have the opportunity to purchase property, getting the chance to live in one of the most beautiful cities in the settled systems. By joining the Vanguard today, you too can begin earning your place here, in the heart of galactic civilization, as a citizen of the United Colonies.
Ah, you must be our new applicant. I'm Proctor Samuelson. The simulator's already been prepped. You can head in whenever you're ready. Of course, you'll be running through a high-realism combat flight simulation, engineered by members of the UC Science staff, right here in Mast. Your task is to defeat at least 3 tiers of simulated opponents. Accomplish that and you pass the exam, and can then proceed on to your probationary mission. However, if you defeat more than 3 tiers of enemies, your required enlistment time for citizenship will be reduced, and your enlistment bonus increased. But you're welcome to try as many times as you like before returning to Commander Tuala to proceed on to the next step in your application process. We'll only keep the highest score you manage to achieve in there. While I can't answer that question directly, I will say this. Due to the solitary nature of our work, resourcefulness is a critical tool in any Vanguard pilot's repertoire. You're permitted, even encouraged, to use whatever tool you're able to find in there. The simulator is designed to be a near-perfect replica of a Class B Deimos hoplite, the United Colony's standard destroyer model. It's been tuned to provide a challenging but fair fight against the enemy squadrons you'll encounter inside.
Well, look who's back. Everything go all right with the exam? Or did you have some questions you needed answered first? So these are your numbers that just came through then. You ready to hear how you did? You did, but your exam score and how you got there factor into how long you're going to have to serve to get your citizenship. So, you ready to review it? Well, let's get to it then. So, looking at the data, hit every mural in the orientation hall, huh? A test of preparation and thoroughness. 2 traits the Vanguard values highly. Psychological results are all within expected levels. Navy doesn't have room for folks that'll fall apart the first time they're trying to outrun a homing missile. Now, how'd you do against your foes? Clear Tier 5, huh? Damn impressive. I swear they start cheating at that level, but the techs claim it's fair. Either way, you've got the skills the Navy needs.
Hell of a job. I might even let you fly me around sometime.
So then, looking at your results as a whole, and presuming you're successful in completing your probationary mission, you could have your UC citizenship after only 5 years. You showed real potential in there. We want to make sure you're fighting on our side. Even authorized me to offer you a bonus in addition to your signing advance.
Citizenship in 5 years? That's quite impressive. Took me almost 9, thanks to some false starts. You should be proud.
Sounds like you're just the type of pilot the Vanguard's looking for. If you're interested, we could bring you on as a provisional member today. Get you the credits you've earned, then send you out on your probationary mission. First, though, all UC service people, provisional or otherwise, are required to swear an oath. So, you want to make this official? Commit yourself to the cause of the colonies?
It's a big decision. John, you're not about to have my compatriot here sign some kind of contract that sells you their grandmother 5 years down the line, are you?
Officer's honor, Sarah. This is honest work for honest credits. So, you ready to do the deed? Fantastic. Then just follow me. Wouldn't be right doing this where we couldn't see the stars. Now, raise your right hand. The motto of the Vanguard is Supra et Ultra, above and beyond. That is where we serve, beyond the furthest reaches of the United Colonies military, and with honor and duty above reproach. Do you swear to protect and defend the citizens of the United Colonies to the best of your abilities, and to uphold the values of the Vanguard, honor, loyalty, self-reliance in all your actions as a member of the United Colonies Navy? Then let me be the first to officially welcome you to the United Colonies Vanguard. Now, only thing left is getting you that probationary mission. And what I've got is comms repair. Group trying to refurb an old colony war processing plant on Tau Ceti 2. Sounds like they'd barely gotten set up when their communications died. Place is as isolated as they come, so Brass wants a Vanguard to deliver the repair suite and ensure anyone present is safe and secure. So, can the people of Tau Ceti 2 count on you? That's the spirit. Head down to the spaceport and talk to Crew Chief Harath. He'll get you the repair suite plus your new recruit kit. Oh, and your advance. Give it your all out there. Supra et Ultra. Head down to the spaceport and speak to Crew Chief Harath. He'll get you where you need to go. Right. Got so wound up bringing you on board, I almost forgot.
Oh, I haven't. Come on, John. Let's hear it, before you try to convince him to join the Marines.
All right. Here's what I've got. Vanguard volunteer by the name of Moera. Helps patrol the old neighborhood. Sol, Mars, Neptune, you know.
The Sol system. Which admiral did he upset to get that posting?
He's Martian, born and raised. Not like I can get anyone else to care. Word is he's got some fancy metal ornament he's been showing off to the old grounders. Matches that description Sarah gave me. Oh, he goes way back. Think he was recruit number 81 or something. What? Nah. Sol system is as quiet as a coffin. It'll be fine.
That means it's not going to be fine.
I'm sure you two can handle it. Sol system is a lot of planets, but a vet like Moera will be checking in at Sidonia on the regular.
You mean hitting the bars, don't you, John?
Hey, nothing wrong with a little refresh between patrols. Yeah, bring a coloring book. You get so used to seeing red, you'll forget what blues and greens look like. You'll have to ask him, but Vanguard volunteers have retrieval rights if they get into a scrap. Wouldn't be surprised if he found it off of a pirate or something like that. It's definitely a lifestyle, burning helium out there, seeing where the stars take you. Good luck out there, Vanguard.
Well, I'll be. Honey, we got ourselves a visitor. I'll get the coffee brewing.
Oh, my God. Oh, you about gave me a heart attack.
Not that we're not thrilled to see you, son, but I thought you were under contract with Argos Extractors. Is everything all right? Come again? Constellation? Is this one of those candid camera vids? A joke?
My child is a member of Constellation. I just knew you were special. Didn't I always say that? That you were meant for great things? Great things. Oh, say again? I should record that and play it back. Mom, you were right. Oh, but you didn't give me any notice. If I'd known, I'd have your favorite meal in the oven. And your room is just a mess. Although that's how you left it.
Easy, honey. Let the boy catch his breath. Why don't you settle in? You know you're always welcome.
I still can't get over you being here. And it's not even Mother's Day. So, I gotta ask, is there anyone special in your life? With you being in Constellation now, I imagine you are quite the catch. Just so you know, your dad cannot wait to be a grandpa. So don't keep him or me waiting too long. I know. I won't get into more right now.
Well, now I see that it's true. Mothers have an irresistible urge to interfere in their children's love life.
I know you didn't live in this apartment long, but I want you to consider this your home away from home. Your bed is always yours, no questions asked. I mean, well, I will ask questions, But you can stay here no matter the answers. It's complicated. Maybe one day I'll get into it. But neither of us mind moving. I think we both have a bit of nomad in us. I think, though, New Atlantis is our forever home. No bother at all. Stay as long as you like. Anything you want to talk about, dear? Well, one of your old classmates made junior VP at Galbank. Their father was bragging for hours. Can't wait to tell him about Constellation. Oh, ain't that the truth? With both of our pensions, we still couldn't afford it. But with what you send home, well, we get by. And of all the places we've lived, New Atlantis is just so full of culture and life. Now that we're both retired, you mean? I keep trying to push your father to do things. Dance lessons, vacation, take some courses. I'm really interested in early colonial art. But he's just happy as a clam reading in his chair for hours. Wants to know the history of every little thing. It's nice to have time to do both, though.
I still can't believe it. Constellation. The stories make them seem so exotic, so, well, romantic, almost. But how is it for real? You liking it? Don't you worry yourself about that. All your life, you've been just this mess of potential waiting for a chance. Your number's finally been called, and the settled systems had better be ready for you. I've got some news of my own. You are now officially looking at a retiree. Taught my final class last Thursday. The faculty threw me a party and everything. It's too bad you weren't here then. You could have had some cake. Teaching? I'll miss some of it. Occasionally, I got a student that I could really connect with and make a difference. Those are the ones that kept me going. It didn't matter if they tested well, if it lit a passion in them. That's the stuff. But most of the time, no, I won't miss it at all. I gave it my good old college try. You see what I did there? Enough about that. Anything you want to talk about before you have to go? I mean, stay. Stay as long as you like, but I imagine you're all excited to get to discovering. Planning a proper, honest-to-goodness vacation. Nothing too fancy. I've been promising your mom a trip for years, and I got no excuses now. Your mother's been sending me links all day about such and such deals and excursions, but it'll be good to get out. You know, it's supposed to be us taking care of you, right? I'd like to say we'll pay you back the money you sent home. Well, I appreciate it. We appreciate it. More than you know. Retirement's treating me well, but there are some days I almost missed the classroom. Don't say anything to your mom about this, but she got some work done at Enhance. She keeps looking younger every day, I tell her. Not that I mind.
There is simply no parallel to the food you will find here. One taste, and I'm sure you'll agree. The Dawn's Roost represents the highest quality, from the ingredients to the decor. No expense is spared. Anyone who has sampled our offerings will assure you it is all worth it.
Welcome to SSNN, where the news never sleeps. If you're part of the David Barron fan club, try not to inflate his ego too much. He's liable to burst.
Maybe get you a ticket to a speaking gig he's
We
got?
spend hundreds of hours digging into stories, sorting the lies from the damned lies. Then David performs a 2-minute segment and wins an award. Who'd have a problem with that? A cog in the machine. If you mean literally, Nadia Mufaz, head researcher of the office. So if we got any facts wrong, I'm the one who files your complaint into the shredder. Sorry. Long day. Longer night. How about a do-over? Let's take a look at you. You're not from around here. My guess is you really work for a living. I bet you have a story or two. I have a feeling about such things. Sounds like an old pickup line. But it really has, hasn't it? I'm interested only in primary sources. So things you've seen and or done that are newsworthy. No hearsay. So, what do you got for me? I'm working on an investigative piece about some of the businesses in the well right now. Trying to get a handle on how things are in that part of the city. I'm not sure the story will get off the ground, though. I asked the higher-ups if I could go down there for some interviews, but they said it's too dangerous. They'd probably be all for it if David asked. Really? You sure? The well's a pretty dangerous place. It might be too much for a first-time reporter. Great. I had 3 interviewees in mind. Teresa Mason, the owner of Kay's house, Henrik Zoran at Apex Electronics, and Nurse O'Shea from the medbay. You don't need to ask too many tough questions. I just want to read on how their businesses are doing, and how things are in the well. I really can't thank you enough. If you've seen something interesting, let me know. If it pans out into a full story, you'll be compensated. We're short-staffed, overworked, and trying to report on a million things at once. Not to mention there's a constant battle with the powers that be to maintain our journalistic principles. So, things are just swell. Dear Lord, everyone wants to know about Baron. He's a smart guy. He cares about what he's reporting. He's way too damn cozy with the UC, and that's a problem for us staying impartial. My biggest beef with him is he's credited with everything he reports, and he doesn't lift a finger to correct that impression. Looks like some Crimson Fleet brainiac figured out it's easier to hit stationary targets than dogfighting in the field. And you are an eyewitness with the courtesy to find us instead of being chased down. Refreshing. So what were the pirates doing there? It's not their usual MO.
Tell them about the ore. That was quite a lucrative operation.
Rare minerals, you say? That would be worth the price of admission. So what's your role in all this? Part of a tour group? Huh. I didn't realize Argos Extractors hired such capable crew. So we've covered the basics. How about any harrowing tales of daring do? How'd a bunch of miners triumph? Huh. Sounds like a good outfit. The heroic miner is a good angle. This is a good local story. Plucky miners band together and punch above their weight. If you ever get more stories like this, drop by. And take this to cover any incidentals, or other creative ways to pad out an expense report.
Oh, yes. Lynn mentioned hiring some brand new miner before she left for that job. I must have seen your picture in the contractor database. I take it this means the job's done, then. Good to know. So, what can I help you with? Well, after I book a job, Lynn meets with the clients to nail down the details. She negotiates the terms of the contract and even supervises some of our more important work sites. That woman never stops impressing me. As a former contractor, I'm surprised you don't know. We take on jobs that others won't, whether they're far away, extra tough, or just plain dangerous. And we always get the job done on schedule at a lower cost than our competitors. I book and process our jobs, manage the schedule on a broad scale, and interface with new clients. We're a small company, so a lot of us administrative types wear a lot of hats, as they say. We just picked up several more contracts. Risky stuff, if I'm being truthful, but we position ourselves to take advantage of jobs like that. Think asteroid mining and other tough jobs. The next few years are going to be interesting for Argos. Oh, wow, that's terrible. Those pirates sure are getting bolder these days. Is everyone okay? Well then, we don't expect our employees to engage in conflict with pirates, for legal reasons mostly. But I'm sure your colleagues appreciated your efforts to keep them safe. Thank you.
Hey, are you looking for eggs too? I've only found one so far, but I want to find more before anyone else does. So if you see some, can you tell me? Yeah, it was. Weird, right? Miss Seng over at UC Distribution bought the one I found, and she said she might buy more if I can find them. I could really use the credits.
Welcome to UC Distribution. Something I can do for you? Who, Jordan? That kid's in here every other day with some random thing he found. Trying to get credits. Yeah, I took pity on him. Why, what is it? Oh, really? Well, you can have it back for what I paid for it, plus a little extra. Let's call it a convenience fee, shall we? Pleasure doing business with you.
I really do need that additional data. Recent scans of the tree have suggested that a significant portion of the interior is liquefied. Obviously, some small percentage of its internal workings is always liquid, to allow for the transfer of nutrients and so forth, but this? Well, I've never seen anything like it. If it continues to increase, I'm concerned the entire tree may collapse, and I'm also worried about other secondary effects. It's too soon to speculate. I'd very much like to see the additional data before I say more. If the time comes, I will certainly attempt to alert the appropriate people en masse. If I have more data, though, my concerns might carry some more weight. I appreciate your confidence. The sooner I have all the available data, the sooner I can make an assessment. So you do. Wonderful. I'll just take these, and we'll see what they have to tell us. All right. Well, there's good news and bad news. The good news is that my suspicions were correct. There is something wrong with the tree. I will report my findings to MAST immediately with no small amount of satisfaction. The phrase, "I told you so," may even be uttered more than once. Yes, it does feel good to be right. Particularly when others have attempted to convince you otherwise. Repeatedly. The bad news, as it were, is that the internal composition of the tree is changing. In this particular case, the tree is now regularly emitting ultra-low frequency sound waves. They're nearly imperceptible now, but they're growing in strength. This is something we've never observed before. Depending on how large these waves grow, consequences for the city could be disastrous. I must consult with my colleagues in MAST at once. Thank you for your assistance. I hope these credits are adequate compensation.
It's nothing like an afternoon off. What, at Terra Brew? I wish. Nah, I live at Athena Tower. Just moved in, actually. My girlfriend and I got a place there a few weeks ago. I'm not sure how long we'll be there, though. We're saving up to get out of New Atlantis and, tour the settled systems. Fine, I guess. Do we know each other? Oh, alright. I thought you were trying to flirt with me. My day's going fine. It's hard to complain about anything when you have a Terror Brew in your hand. Catch you later, yeah? Yeah, sure. Her name's Donna. She works at the Nat station near Mast. Oh, boy, is she a catch. She's passionate, beautiful, friendly. I really lucked out. We met a couple of years ago, and we've been going steady since then. I'm actually thinking about asking her to marry me pretty soon. Keep that between us, okay? I don't want her finding out before I pop the question.
Don't take it personal if I don't stop to chat. Lots to do, not nearly enough hands to do it all. Absolutely. I'm sure my mom would be proud to have the place featured in an article. What's up? Business is steady, as usual. We don't tolerate violence or disrespect, so a lot of folks like to spend time here. The only thing that's worrying me is a new group of customers I've seen hanging around lately. They've been watching the UC surplus store pretty closely. I have a bad feeling they might be planning something. Kay's house has a reputation as a safe place. I don't want to be associated with that kind of thing. Honestly, I'd really appreciate that. I'd feel terrible if something happened and I hadn't done anything to try to stop it. Why don't you come by when you have some spare time? And we'll talk it out. Yeah, sure thing. I'm Teresa Mason, and this is my home. My mom's the Kay who founded Kay's house. I grew up here along with the business. My mom passed the place on to me when she decided to retire. Running it is my pride and joy. I've put everything I have into it. Same as ever. I've lived in the well my whole life, and things have never really changed. The UC government promises to clean the place up every couple years, but there's still just as much crime and poverty as there was when I was a kid. That's why Kay's house is so important. It's the one place people in the well feel safe. Be sure to put that in the article, okay? I'm really proud of it. Great. Let me know when the article comes out, will you? I'd like to read it.
If you need patching up, we'll see what we can do. A journalist? That's a surprise. Most people don't think anything that goes on in the well is worth writing about. I'd be happy to help if I can. Things are always rough at the med bay. I'm the closest thing to a doctor that the well has, and I can't treat everyone. The last few weeks have been especially bad. There's some kind of infection going around, and a lot of kids down here are catching it. It just breaks my heart to see. Oh, you're sweet to offer. There might be something you can do, if you're willing. Let's chat again when you have some time to spare, all right? Sure, if you'd like. My name's Talia. I was born and raised right here in the well. I've been the nurse here at the med bay for over a decade now. Once upon a time, I was a combat medic for the UC Navy. When the colony war ended, I came back to the well to put my skills to use for the people here. Things are always the same in the well. Violent and dangerous. I swear I treat more injuries here than I did when I was a Navy medic. All right, dear. You let me know if there's anything else I can do for you.
Stock's a bit low, so you might find yourself disappointed. Stop by anytime. If you're a serious customer, feel free to look around. A reporter? Fine, but I'm only talking basics. I don't like people snooping around my business. Name's Henrik. I own Apex Electronics. That's all I'm willing to say to some nosy reporter. How the hell do you think? Life's a mess down here. I'm not holding my breath for it to get any better. Door's still open, isn't it? That's my idea of success. Sorry if you were hoping for something more flowery. Great! Now why don't you help me out and buy something? I scratch your back, you scratch mine.
My source is back. Here to report anything else? Hey, that's great. Thanks so much. Did everything go all right? That's why stories like this one are so important. If people knew what was going on down there, maybe they'd want to help fix it. I can't thank you enough for helping me out. I'll send you a copy of the story if it gets published. There's nothing like seeing your name in print.
Everyone's welcome, so long as you keep your hands to yourself. Understand? No causing trouble in here. Would you? I'd really appreciate it. I saw them hanging around the UC surplus earlier today. They sure looked suspicious to me. They've been coming here regularly for the last couple weeks, and all they do is sit on the balcony and watch the UC surplus. I thought I heard them mention a robbery, but I'm not sure. They seem to know I'm onto them, so they stop talking about it when I'm around. That's not how I want this handled. Kay's place is the only safe haven in the well. I can't condone violence. If anyone's going to handle them, it should be security. But I have to be sure they're up to something before I get the authorities involved. I don't want to get anyone on security's bad side for no reason. Why don't you do a little sleuthing for me? Maybe you'll have better luck eavesdropping on them than I did. We can decide what to do once we figure out if they're really up to something.
3 gunshots this week alone. I guess we know where UC Security's priorities are. And aren't. Oh, you remembered. I'm touched, dear, really. Yes, there's absolutely something you can do to help. All the children seem to have the same stomach bug, but I'm having trouble diagnosing it. Pediatrics isn't my specialty. But one of my colleagues, Dr. Lebedev, is an expert. If I had his research notes, I'm sure I could diagnose the disease and find a treatment. He works topside at Reliant Medical. It's easy to find. It's right between Mast and Orion Tower. Dr. Lebedev is always there. I've seen an uptick in cases of sick children in the medbay recently. They all seem to be presenting the same symptoms, but I can't identify the cause. It isn't serious enough to kill them, but I haven't found an effective treatment yet. That has me worried. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'd go myself, but I can't leave the medbay unattended.
Welcome to Reliant. If you're in need of medical assistance or require supplies, I am sure we can accommodate you. A medical problem Talia can't solve. I never thought I'd see the day. How can I help? We've been professional acquaintances for a long time. She's an excellent nurse. If the well didn't need her so badly, I'd have offered her a job here ages ago. Sick children. Well, we can't have that. I'd be happy to help. Let's see. A stomach bug. I've treated plenty of those. I keep extensive notes. I'm sure I have something that can help. Ah, yes, here we go. This should do the trick. I've uploaded some of my notes on common stomach issues in pediatric patients to this slate. Please, pass it on to Talia. She can keep it. And give her my best, will you? I hope everything works out for those kids.
I've got limited resources, but I try not to turn anyone away just because they're light on credits. Really? Let's see. Ah, this is perfect. I knew Dr. Lebedev would have what I needed. I'll have this solved in no time with these notes for reference. Thank you so much, dear. Really. I couldn't have done this without you.
I don't know, Isaac. Seems like a tough joint to crack.
Nah, that's just what they want you to think, Louis. You see security around here?
No, but
nothing. I say we strike while the iron's hot. I got a feeling that goody two-shoes at Kay's place is gonna rat us out.
she was giving us some serious side-eye last time we were in there.
See? No time like the present. We'll do it tonight. It'll be fine, trust me. We'll be in and out in time to make last call at Jake's. If we pull this off, we'll be swimming in credits.
I've never seen anybody else try something like this.
I've just about had enough of you doubting me, Louis.
If you say so, Isaac.
Frick's info is good. This'll be a piece of cake.
That's a pretty big if.
You gotta trust me. We'll be fine.
I guess I need to work on my self-confidence.
If we can make this happen, we'll be real big shots around here.
I sure hope we can make it happen.
Hey, I thought you were on my side here.
I have a real bad feeling about this.
Frick's info is good. This'll be a piece of cake.
Everyone's
as long
welcome,
as you
so long
like.
as you keep your hands to
And
yourself.
don't be a stranger.
Understand? No causing trouble in here. Damn. I was hoping I had it wrong. I guess that settles it. We have to get the authorities involved before they can go through with the robbery. You should take this straight to Officer Endler at the security office. He'll look into it. If he gives you a hard time, tell him I sent you to make the report. That'll get him on your side. Sort of. He's a regular customer, and I've reported crimes to him before. He's more fair-minded than most of the Wells security officers. Thanks. Let me know when you've made the report, okay?
What I wouldn't give to be stationed in the Embassy District. Well, that's what we're here for. What's going on? The UC surplus. You sure about that? It's been a long time since someone was stupid enough to rob that place. It's hard to argue with first-hand info. I guess I'll take your word for it. I'll head over there now to check it out. Those thieves won't be so cocky with security on patrol.
That was quick. How'd things go with Officer Endler? I'm glad to hear it. I'll think twice about trying anything with security in the area. Thanks for your help with this. I feel a lot better knowing security's on patrol down there. Another day, another credit.
Thinking about taking my spell.
Thank you so much. Soon I'll be coursing with bountiful energy. I'll be the most enthusiastic janitor in New Atlantis. Here, take this. I found it while I was cleaning. I figured you might find a use for it. Thanks again. I really appreciate it.
You are, of course, welcome at any time here in Mast. Same as anyone. Just be aware that you are being monitored. I'm the acting head of Aegis, the intelligence division here in Mast. I oversee all our active projects and agents in the field, and I'm afraid that's about as much detail as I can give you. We're the intelligence arm of the United Colonies. Think of it this way. UC Security responds to threats. It's Aegis's job to anticipate and prevent them. No. My parents would never have been so presumptuous. Every agent who joins Aegis gets to choose a pseudonym, pending approval, of course. I chose this for myself when I signed on. I have, of course, since learned that I am not nearly as smart as I thought I was as a younger man. I suppose none of us are. All you really need to know is that we're here to serve and we're the good guys. Our main priority is the safety and security of the citizens and assets of the United Colonies, wherever they may be. We keep an eye on, well, everything. That's a level of detail I can't get into. Don't worry. We've got plenty of good people working hard. Well, you're certainly entitled to that opinion, and there are plenty of others who share it. We'll be looking out for you just the same. They've got you doing grunt work, Captain. Hardly the reward I'd expect for a member of the Vanguard. Admirable. I bet qualities like that are precisely why you've moved so quickly up the ranks. Oh, it wasn't a compliment. Just an observation. In any case, let me fill you in. We have a dead drop that we think has been compromised. So I'd like someone from UC Security to handle the pickup instead. Take the package back to Sergeant Yumi, and he'll check it in as evidence before it gets routed back to Aegis. We think non-UC affiliated groups have their eye on it, and are using it to identify field agents. Normally, we just burn the location, but we didn't get this intel until after the drop. So we're going to need non-Aegis personnel to do the pickup to cover our tracks. Well, I told the sergeant that anyone hired for this job should get my stamp of approval first. Nothing personal. It's just this sort of work isn't part of your normal detail. Take the Nat to the spaceport. There should be a Galbank ATM right next to the station. The package is taped under one of the benches. Grab it and deliver it to Sergeant Yumi and the job's done. Just the usual reports from agents in the field on persons of interest. Right now, the information isn't as important as who we're tracking.
How's the investigation going? Nicely done. It's really hard to find good help these days. That being said, my luck seems to be turning around. We've gotten a lot of new personnel as of late, not just you. Who knew all I had to do was put up a sign? Oh yeah, once I had a recruit who was basically bred to be UC security. I mean, his favorite book was our training manual. He knew every rule, every procedure, and on top of that was a pinpoint marksman. But he lacked exactly what you are talking about. Initiative. He ended up transferring to a desk job after a year. Anyway, here's your payment. And if I have any more work for you, I'll let you know.
Hey, this really isn't a good place for civilians to be hanging around. There's something I can help you with? Yeah, I can't really just let you in there. Yeah, I hope so. That's a good one. I hear you. Okay, that's pretty good. All right, look, don't tell anyone I did this for you. Could lose my job over it.
Hey there, new guy. Good to see you again. Can I get you something? Oh, no way. You really got it? I probably don't want to know what you did to get this, right? I mean, I want to know, but it's maybe better if I don't. Oh, did you? Well, I know who to go to next time I need to renew my liquor license. Well, look, I can assure this will all be worth it in the end. Matter of fact, I'm going to let you have the first ever sample. On top of that, you get free drinks. Not like unlimited free drinks, but you want a little pick-me-up now and then? I got you covered. I need some time to work on what comes next. But this was the difficult part, I think. Really? Thank you so much.
Ah, you are new probationary then? Crew Chief Herat. Pleasure to be working with you. It's my job to make sure all you rocket jockeys are ready for anything that comes at you up there. Now, Manifest says we're fitting you out with one comms repair suite. In addition to the standard issue welcome kit all probationary pilots get for their first mission. Med packs, some small arms, couple spare ship parts, all the essentials in case of any surprises up there. My people will have everything on your ship before you lift off. Won't even know they were there. So, paying a visit to the people of scenic Tau Ceti 2. Nice easy one for your first job. Just keep your head on swivel and you'll come home safe. Any questions before you head out? I honestly didn't realize it had people living on it until we got your recorder. Report they gave us seemed clean, no known hostile outposts, but I wouldn't say that's permission to let your guard down. Just watch out for wildlife and pirates. Keep those med packs handy and you'll be fine. Nothing too dangerous, if that's your concern. The repair suite's mostly just wiring and circuit boards. The welcome kit has some goodies in there I wouldn't leave sitting around when company comes to visit. But it's nothing some proper storage can't make safe. Then I won't keep you. Make us look good out there, recruit.
Captain. Yep. Something just came in. Scuffle over at the Dawn's Roost. Security on site handled it, but now one of them is saying the other guy stole his wedding ring. Problem is, he left without identifying the perp, so I need you to talk to Royce Elgin at the Dawn's Roost. See if you can fill in the gaps. Men like him aren't very generous with their time. They want you to solve a case without ever having to lift a finger themselves. Not that he'd be much of a witness, given that he was still half drunk when he got here and somehow even more so when he left. Sorry, wrong word. Rich people don't get drunk, they get inebriated, which is another way of saying highly unreliable. Good. Report back here when the matter's resolved. A restaurant over in the residential district caters to a very fancy clientele. It's the kind of place where folks come in different sizes, depending on the food. It's a lot of work, as always. People like to say, New Atlantis is the safest city in the settled systems. How hard could your job be? Well, safety doesn't happen by accident. It takes a lot of work and a lot of people. According to the patron, the ring is valuable, but if I had to guess, not for sentimental reasons. Normally, when someone loses a valuable keepsake, they're heartbroken. The way this guy was acting, it's almost as if he lost a wallet full of creds.
I do hope you are enjoying your time in New Atlantis.
A most unfortunate incident, complicated by the fact that both parties were inebriated. While I wasn't privy to the entire argument, Hugo and Octavio have been dining here together for quite some time. So, it was surprising to see them at each other's throats. Well, the one who stayed with UC Security, Octavio, is a shorter man, handsome and refined. His favorite menu item is the Saint, I believe. The other, Hugo Fournier, is a tall, slender gentleman with a French accent. Excellent tipper, well-mannered, but a bit hot-tempered. I wasn't witness to any theft, and both men were wearing rings, if I recall correctly. Oh, yes, quite often. They had a usual table over in the far corner, with all the traditional accoutrements. Music, candles, wine. You see where I'm going with this. But this time the two had barely sat down before the argument got heated. Thankfully, security stepped in before anyone got hurt. I assume that would be the slender gentleman, Hugo Fournier. He was the one who excused himself after UC Security arrived. I believe he lives in Athena Tower, although he may be checking out soon. But I would start there.
Oh, I can't believe that Octavio. That liar, that manipulator, that... Thank you. He's a scoundrel and a fiend, and I was wrong to ever think otherwise. 5 years we were together, half a decade! And he threw it all away for that waiter. It was supposed to be a romantic dinner, our last before we pledged our lives to each other. But an hour before, I decided to do some cleaning to calm my nerves. I picked up a pair of pants he left on the floor, and out falls a napkin from the Dawn's Roost with a number written on the back. To think he had the audacity to schedule a date with me at the same restaurant? I was livid! Still, I went to the date and held it together just long enough for the waiter to serve us, then I went off! Not just dating, betrothed. And I have the engagement ring to prove it. No, there are some things in life that cannot be repaired. Cheating is his way of saying, I don't love you. And without love, what's the point? He would say that, but as far as I'm concerned, it's my property. He gifted it to me when he proposed. It's not his to return. I don't care. I'm not giving it to you. You're right. My stubbornness gets me in trouble far too often. true. I don't want to go to prison. I've heard stories and they rarely end well. A crime? You can't be serious. If anyone is a criminal, it's that two-timing Lothario. I don't care if you're with UC Security. I have rights. And as far as the ring goes, I don't know what the law says, but I doubt you do either.
Good to see you again. Yeah, fine by me. I worked at DRIP in the UC Science Division. They're the department responsible for dreaming up new weapons tech for the military. Officially, I was a prototype tester, but my title should have been guinea pig. I was in charge of making sure everything the engineers came up with was safe. When a new weapon was developed, they'd have me take it to an uninhabited planet to put it through its paces. That way, if it blew up, I was the only guy that got hurt. Plenty. Field work's always dangerous, but when you're dealing with experimental tech, close calls are basically a given. But that's half the fun of the job, if you ask me. The kind of marketing exec felt real clever for coming up with. The whole department knows it's ridiculous. We have all kinds of jokes about it. You're dripping on your desk, or call a plumber, there's a drip on this floor. Hilarious stuff. Even management got in on it. Not at all. To tell you the truth, I'm happy to be out of the line of fire. Kind of nice to fly under the radar for a bit. It is weird not to be working for the UC anymore, though. I've had my eye on a job at MAS since I was a kid. You Vanguard guys have always impressed me, you know? My dad was a member when he was young. He talked about it all the time. He made civil service sound good enough that my siblings and I all ended up working for the UC, too. Must have been his plan from the beginning. My parents are military vets, both retired now. My dad was top brass during the Colony War, and my mom was a sniper for the UC Navy. As for my siblings, all three of us ended up at MAST. My older sister, Georgia, works for the Office of Interstellar Affairs in the Administrative Division. Our brother, Taylor's the family academic. He's a xenobiologist in the Scientific Division. His job makes my old gig at DRIP look like a cakewalk. They've both been retired from active duty for years. My dad served as a general until the armistice was signed, but he's switched to teaching recruits after the war. Mom's a bit of a different story. She'd probably still be a part of the military if she hadn't been medically discharged for an injury sustained in the field. She had a close call with a laser weapon that left her blind in one eye. It was an instant death stroke for her sniping career. His bosses have him in the field cataloging every species of flying predator that lives in UC space. I guess MAST wants to make some kind of wildlife guide for travelers? I don't know how his team divided up the work, but it sounds to me like Taylor drew the short straw. She's an operations director. It's a nice way of saying career bureaucrat. She's responsible for making sure ambassadors visiting New Atlantis get the royal treatment. It's not my cup of tea, but I'm glad she does it. It'll pay to have a diplomat in the family if things go south with the Freestar Collective again. It might. My dad always says you can't go a week at MAST without hearing the Bankowski name. Here's hoping the place hasn't burst into flames without its most charming weapons tester to keep an eye on things. Just, wasn't the place for me anymore. A guy can only shoot off so many experimental weapons into space before he starts wanting more out of life. And I don't want to get into it, but there was a problem with my last assignment. The situation got out of hand and blew up in my face. Leaving wasn't my first choice, but it was my only option. And that's all I'm going to say about it.